Umusopa. Greeting to everyone. Thank you very much for these opportunities, Hugo, and all the ICCAs and colleagues and friends who make this happen on this very important days, the World's Indigenous Peoples Day. We have a wonderful exchanges of our stories, our experiences across the regions. I'm sorry that I'm not feeling quite well today, so my probably presentation won't be energetic as I want to be. So I also want to apologize in advance. Okay, as Hugo asked me to share, so I will share with you our Karen people story from Burma, Myanmar. So first, I would like to start with the background about our Karen people and our Karen people's movement for self-determination. And then we'll talk a bit about the Salween Peace Park, and then what do we do to sustain our territories of life. Yeah, so that will be about my presentation. So about our current people, of course, from our own lens. Our origins, we said that we came from places in Mongolia, Tibet, and then upper reaches of Yangtze River. And we are the earlier settlers in today's Burma, Myanmar, around 500 BC, so about 3,000 years ago. And then today we have around 5 to 10 million people. So the country's total population is 54 million by 2019. So yeah, why I say 5 to 10 million, because we don't have any independent census conducted so far. And the latest one is 2014. We didn't also see the government release a public report about the census result. No? So we estimate around 5 to 10 million. So we are a large, we have a large population, and we can compare to many other countries in Europe and also in Southeast Asia here. Huh? And then our current people, if we can see, we migrated from very far, from the north, no? Mongolia, and coming down for many hundreds of years, thousands of years. So we are probably the ancient, most what do you call it, the oldest probably tribes or race. So we have a nomadic lifestyle, and largely we are Sweden cultivators, hunters, and fishermen. So our traditions, our way of life is so much has a relationship with our land. So in history, we don't see any current people interested in the trades, and also we don't have kingdoms or building walls or castles or something like that. No? We are just ordinary human beings. Socially, we are diverse. As you can see, we have 20 subgroups, speak 12 dialects, and geographically, you can see we are dispersed in different regions. No? We don't have kind of stay close together. Like that, is sort of make it difficult also for our nation building, and as well as the state building when we organize our movement. And we are separated and divided by successive oppressions, from the Burman kingdoms, Hmong kingdoms, and also we have a domination, assimilation by other powerful nations or ethnic nations, and colonization, British colonization, and exclusion and state building. In the building of this state building, we are excluded now. So that is the brief background about our current people. And about our self-determination, we said as I said earlier, no? British colonized and ruled Burma from 1824 to 1948. That is the colonial period. And Karen helped British won Anglo-Burmese War, not Anglo-Burmese War. And we were sort of liberated from the oppression from the Burman dynasties. And during that time, we also received favoritism from British, and we got opportunities, education through missionaries and all these things. So that's also gave rise to the Karen people in the politics arena in the country. And then we can say that by 1881, that we have the first Karen National Association to really unite Karens from all regions. So we are kind of separated across the region. And then around 1920 and 39, that time, we can say that our nationalist movement really gained momentum and kind of a peak time for us. We have our national flag, we have our national anthem, we have our New Year recognized by the colonial government. So much proud in this achievement. And then we kind of also even propose and announce for a current kind of separate state. And then, of course, 42, 45, 1942 and 245, there was a Second World War. Karen fought with the British, and in exchange for a separate state, we said that after the World War II ended, we will probably get independent from the British government. But we can see right after the end of World War II, we were our negotiation failed to build our current state failed, and then the KNU, the Karen National Union body, formed to really lead the current political demand. And 48, Burma gained independence, and then the Karen's also movement. We for independent or separate state continued, but we failed, and then we had really faced with violent attacks on our Karen villages, and then forced the KNU to go underground, took our arms and in self-defense. 49, we said that Karen revolution started. So and then the KNU also announced its independent state called Kotule, and we also formed the government body and administration since 49 to now. So that's why we are working in operating in the de facto kind of government area. And then by mid-50s, the KNU changed political position from independent to a federal democratic state. Now it's more like federalism. So this is the changes of political. So with this time frame, we can see that kind of chronological time. We can see that the different times we are facing with different political events, And then the latest one is 2020 and 2020. There's more like political reconciliation, democratization, peace process, peace agreement signed. And then, we thought that, this is a time where we can also now build our kind of self-determination right, gain our self-determination right within the federal union. And at the same time, 2012, we also start our Salween Peace Park initiative, and we established Salween Peace Park in December 2018, and we call it as the beginning of a current grassroots movement for peace, conservation, and a just future. This is a very new movement run by the grassroots indigenous people, and then so much focus on their peace and about cultural conservation. Yeah. And then February 1 this year, we had a military coup. Everything went back to dark age, and then escalation of armed conflict, air strikes. And then we said once again, the mainstream political movements for self-determination fail again. It's fail again. But for Karen, for our Salween Peace Park, we already say that we cannot stop because we just started our kind of grassroots movement. So we said we already have the longest, the world's longest running civil war in the world, over 70 years. And we have, unstable political situation. And then we also faced with the centralized control of resources. We don't have any legal framework that recognize our traditional and customary land rights. And we also have violence, often violent extraction and militarized development projects like dams, mining, logging. All these things we experience at this day. And still today in our Peace Park, we still have good we say conditions of forest and our territory of life. And we say, yes, something's going on, something that really sustain our territory of life. Then we looking deeply into that, and we see some positive things that we wanted to really increase it, and then trying to also minimize the threats that are coming into this our territory of life. So then we have to think of a different way. We have a different vision, visions. So we propose an alternative model, a different really vision for peace and conservation. So that's why the Salween Peace Park came about. So this Peace Park definitely built on our indigenous people relationship with our lands and our really worldview about our development and our culture and everything that should come together. So this is the vision: to foster peace, cooperation, cultural resilience, sustainable natural resource management, about cultural conservation and local livelihood improvement. So this is a vision that we wanted to propose, so that whatever political changes happening in the country, we should be able to move forward. And we articulated 3 core goals: peace and self-determination, environmental integrity, and cultural survival. All these 3 things together, we hope that it will sustain our territory of life in the Salween Peace Park, and will maintain our kind of territory of life for now and in our kind of generations to come. And definitely we focus so much on also building a good governance structure. So we have a very inclusive one coming from the de facto government, KNU, coming from the civil society representative, and coming from the indigenous people representative or communities, and also inclusion of women in this governance. And this is how our Peace Park looks like, and it's so much built on our indigenous people customary territory or core system. So this is why we said that in order to have this large scale landscape area to be well conserved, we need to build on really the indigenous people relationship, strong relationship with their lands and territory, and forests, waters, wild animals, etc., etc. So for interlinking tasks that we do, it is, as I said, they are not new. They are practiced by many other countries across the world. And but what I want to emphasize is that even in this very difficult environment, in conflict environments, our people in the Peace Park, we are able to continue to do these 4 things. So that is the things that I'm very proud of, and I also, very happy that we also have many friends that support us to do this thing. Definitely, one is we need to really focus on our territory of life. Governing our territory of life, because governance is the thing that really hold our relationship together, between the communities and between the land. And without these institutions, our relationship will fall apart. That will not sustain in the future. Second is also we need to really defend our territories. Meaning here we need to strengthen our resistance. We need to empower our people. We need to know about our rights, our ethnic rights, our right to self-determination. We need to empower ourselves in order to defend our territory. And the third one is sustaining our territory of life. Meaning here we need to preserve, we need to use, we need to restore, we need to protect some part of the area. And so the environments also have resiliency, and the people also have resiliency. If we have problems, let's say if we have a armed conflict, we run again, hide in the jungle, we use the forest for our survival. But when we return, the forest we also regenerate, like that. So we should be able to maintain this. And the 4 is promoting our territory of life, which means our really movement for appropriate recognition and higher recognition of indigenous people territory of life. No? So these are the 4 things that we do at the same time together, even in this current environment. So I'm sort of running out of time. Hugo, may I have a few minutes more to run through some pictures?
Yes, please. Sherry.
Yeah, so just run through some pictures here. We focus on institutional empowerment. So we elected the representative of the people and the different civil society actors or representative, and the de facto government KNU representative. And we have 106 members as a General Assembly. So we need to continue to strengthen our governing body in order to meet, in order to design the strategies and also implement the strategies. We meet every year. We hold one General Assembly every year, and then now we are also in a very difficult time because of COVID. But we still find the time to do our regular things, and also by also learning from others. If we have the chance to also visit other area to learn from them. And then our governance is really, we wanted to bring back our relationship to our lands by doing mapping and bringing in the ancestor to tell us the different ecosystems and the boundaries and everything like this. And then yes, this is the legend about our territory. And this is the women's also piling up the boundary marks so that the children later we also recognize and know it. And of course, mapping is also a power for us to negotiate with our other actors and the government, as well as the other development agent. And then also this is useful for planning, land use planning. So a few communities we supported, but we need to do more. And then this is the key one, is the customary core that we really need to strengthen, because we already have about 200, more than 200 something, 240 something core in our territory. So we need to strengthen this. They are the ones who really hold everything together. And this is defending our territory of life by, demanding the demilitarization in our indigenous territory. And then also we organize, the world's Indigenous Peoples Day like today, and No Dam. And this is the performance of our ritual performance to defend our village and to cast away cast out the COVID, community forest, this tree inventory. Yeah, so these are one of the many activities that we do. Just I want to highlight, and we also support women-led biodiversity research to be able to also understand the values of what our territory has. For example, mushroom or orchid or frogs, fish. So many things like this. And we also have wildlife survey protection activities to learn to understand more about our neighbors, our friends. Like this, we have few tigers, but we still have a very good prey for the tiger. So this is important for us to also manage our territory. And we've piloted the forest ranger or forest guardian, especially along the Thai-Burma border, because of the illegal wildlife trades also can happen also. and also promoting the traditional hunting, and also inland fishery conservation, and then the livelihood activities. We have rice banks led by the women groups. So it also helps us to secure our food security during war times, and teaching cultural resilience, passing on our traditional knowledge to our children. And we also have the curriculum in the school to teach our children. And the last one is, of course, to work together with our international alliances, NGOs and friends, to really organize ourselves and advocate for recognition of our territory of life. Conclusion: Salween Peace Park is a movement for peace and cultural conservation, just future for our Karen people. And as we said, it's a peace cooperation, so it's a big win for us and also for our country and our planet. And it is a living hope for our current and future generation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul. Wonderful. But everybody, please understand, you all knows the coup d'etat by the military junta in this February. So, and the Karen people is under attack, bombing from the government army, and also in the COVID pandemic situation. So, for and the Karen people is a model of indigenous people resilience, strength, and hope. So, and now I think there is one or two questions from our audience, right? So, question from Paula Mayo. We hear a lot about the difficult political situation with the regime in Myanmar. How does the political situation influence the Karen people? And what are the other indigenous peoples in Myanmar? And is there unity on the social justice front, a common ground, a shared culture?
In our, Burma, Myanmar today is definitely a country formed by the joint actions of the ethnic and indigenous people of the country. There's never been the one Burma like this, because this is created, the boundaries was created by the British colonial government. But because of the ethnic people joined together and formed this unified Burma, Myanmar, and that's why we see Burmas today in this kind of shape. And then we have the federal kind of system, but the ultra Burman nationalists destroyed this, and then they took power, and then until 2010, and then back again in 2011, 2021, a military coup again. So the indigenous ethnic people in Burma, we definitely want a very genuine democratic or federal democratic union. Everyone has enjoyed self-autonomy and equality and justice. So this is definitely the inspirations of our ethnic people in Myanmar. And but because of the army caused so much problems. So it's also kind of created kind of another kind of thinking among some ethnic groups that, okay, if we cannot live together, we better have a separate state, like Shan state or Kachin state, Karen state, Arakan state, like that. These are some also developments like that view towards more like separate state, because to live together in this country, if we don't respect each other, we cannot live together. But still majority we still hold the value of living together and sharing peace and harmony. And that's why we supported the national NUG formed by the exiled NLD party members who won the 2020 election. Yeah.
And I think Paula supplemented one more question. I think this is about the transboundary Karen people. Yeah, you're not only in the Burma part, you're also in Thailand, and maybe also somewhere. So how about the situation of the integration, or whatever you have to do for those transboundary Karen people, not in the Burma border?
Really, I don't get the questions.
Yeah, but you know that there also is the Karen people in the Thailand side, right? Not only in the Burma. So this is transboundary problem, but they are under different countries. So in your movement, the Karen people's movement, anything you have done that for the integration of the Karen people transboundary, not in the Burma side, or what they have support each other, or have anything? Yeah, I think you do a lot of it.
Yeah. I mean, definitely we do have relationship, yeah, because we share sort of similar culture and practices. So we definitely have that, and also there are also Thai Karen groups that also focus on the culture and education and other humanitarian kind of support. So we do have a relationship with Thai Karen groups in here, but definitely, yeah, we also have to understand the limitation of the what do you call it, political issues, no? Like sort of, when we speak about self-determination like that, there's also sensitive issues also in Thailand. Yeah.
Thank you, Paul, and more in our later session.